Okay, this is Math 7, and this is lesson 9-2. And we're just going to go through the homework so that we kind of have an idea of how to do it. All right, so the number 1, it says find the area of each circle. So let's remind ourselves what area is. Area is equal to pi, or 3.14, times the radius squared. And when we make, so again, this is just typing symbol, so I don't necessarily have a whole bunch of text on this paint drawing thing. So what we use is we use this little caret symbol to signify that we're squaring it. All right, so the radius squared. All right, so for number 1, we have a 14-meter diameter. So that means that the radius is half of that. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So then if we were going to do that, we would go ahead. Let's grab a different color. So for number 1, we're going to have 3.14, and we're going to multiply it by 7 squared. All right, 7 squared. Let's just go to our calculator. If you're not sure what these numbers are, so 7, and if we square it, 7 squared is 49. Notice that's a lot different than 14. The radius squared is not the same as the diameter. Okay, so 49, and then we're going to multiply it by 3.14. All right, so that's 153.86. And it stopped repeating, so we might as well just go ahead and type the whole thing. So our answer is 183.56. I'll double check that to make sure I typed that out right. Oh, I'm inverted that. I'm sure you've never done that in your whole life. 153.86. So let me undo that and let me do it right. 153.86 meters. All right, let's do the next one. So number 2, the radius, and they gave us a radius for this one. So the radius is 12 millimeters. All right, so we can have number 2 is going to be 3.14, and then we're going to multiply that by 12 squared. And that squared just means 12 times 12. So 12 times 12 is 144. And then we're going to multiply that by 3.14. 452 and 0.16. 400, and this was millimeters. Oh, it cut off. All right, you're going to have to make a new one for units so it doesn't cut off. All right, millimeters right there. All right, so number 3, our yards, it's 20 diameter. The diameter is 20 yards. So that means for number 3, we're going to have to divide it by 2. So we have 3.14, and we're going to multiply that by half of 20 is 10. You guys know that. So 10 squared. If you're not good at math in your head, you can do this one on the calculator, but 10 squared is 100, so that's just going to be 3.14 times 100. Move the decimal over, so our answer is going to be 314 yards. All right, we're going to use 3.14 again. A clock face has a radius of 8 inches. What's the area of the clock? We can round to the nearest hundredth. So we're going to use 8 is the radius, 8 squared, and then we're going to multiply that by 3.14. I'll grab my calculator. 8 squared is 64, and we're going to multiply it by 3.14, 296. All right, I'm going to leave 5 and 6 for you to do, but just take note that the diameter, so you're going to need to divide that in half, and this is also a diameter, so divide it in half. All right, let's explore. Let's do one of these so you know how to do them. So for number 7, the circumference. Oh man, the circumference is 4 pi. Gosh, if you don't remember what circumference is, you can go watch one of the other videos, but we'll write it here. So the circumference is equal to the diameter times pi. So that means that the diameter equals 4, right? So if the diameter equals 4, then the radius is half of 4, which is 2. So then our area is going to be equal to 2 squared times 3.14. Go to my calculator. 2 squared is 4, not surprisingly. And then we're going to multiply that by 3.14. And we get 12.56. So the question was, what's our area? 12.56. All right, let's do number 9, because number 12 I bet you can handle because it's just like that. Let's do number 9. So we see that on number 9, the circumference is equal to pi divided by 2. That's the same as saying 1/2 times pi. Right? So just like this, 1/2 has got to be representing the diameter. So that means the diameter's got to be 1/2. Half of a half, if you have 50 cents and you split it in half, half of a half is a quarter. So that means the radius is 1/4 or 1/4. All right? So then the area is equal to 1/4 squared times 3.14. I'm going to go to my calculator. Oh, this is a great calculator because I can actually put fractions in. I can put 1/4. That didn't work. I'll try it again. One-fourth, which is 0.25, and I'm going to square it. Right? So that's what 1/4 squared is, and then I'm going to multiply that by 3.14. Right? So my answer is 0.196. And it said so that's our answer for the area. In there it does say give your answer in terms of pi. So if you wanted to come back here, we could actually give our answer in terms of pi. So we could say it's 1/4 squared is 1/16 times pi. If you wanted to give this in terms of pi, you could say that it was 4 pi, right? You could write that as well. All right, let's do number 10. A circular pen has a pen, not like a writing pen, but like a keep your cow in pen, has an area of 64 pi square yards. What is the circumference? All right, so we're going to go the other direction this time. All right, let's pick a different color. I just love changing colors. It's like those clicky pens. All right, I don't know that you can see that. So this is number 10. So area equals pi times radius squared. So our area equals pi times 64. Notice how I lined those up. So that means the radius squared is 64. So the radius squared is 64. We have to figure out what times what two numbers that are the same as 64. We actually saw it. We saw it right here when we did that math. So 64 is equal to 8 times 8. So that means that if we want to take just the radius, that makes the radius equal to 8. All right, so if the radius is equal to 8, then we know that the circumference is equal to 2 times the radius times pi. All right, And it says give your answer in terms of pi. So we're going to go ahead and finish this off with the circumference is equal to 2 times 8 is 16 pi. And if you're doing this by hand, you're welcome to write the little pi symbol. This just doesn't have a pi symbol that's easily accessible. So 16 pi.